Okay. Okay. So first we'll start with some basic questions related to the programming. Then we'll move on to the technical side. The first question is what is computer, and then we have a question like what is program. We have one more terminology like what is programming. We have one more concept called programming language and types of programming language. Next, what is the purpose of the programming language? Like why we are learning this programming? Why should we do the programming? Okay. In the real time, like how the peoples or developers are using the program. Then we'll go with the why we are choosing the Python programming language, and then we'll go with the some basic fundamental concept of the Python programming. So let's start with the basics. Everything we are going to start with the ABCD. If you don't know about any type of or any concept of the programming language, okay, there will be no issue. Okay, so everything will start from the scratch. In any point, if you are getting any type of questions, okay, you can ask. Either you can post your question in the chat box, or else you can unmute and you can ask. Okay. In between that, also, if you are facing any like audio issues or you cannot able to see the screen, just interrupt in the middle and let me know. So let's start with the first questions. Okay, so if I'm asking any questions, so try to give the answer. So it will be an interactive session, so we can learn more. Okay. So here the first question is what is computer? Coming to the basic definition, and here we are not going with any bookish language type of definition. We'll go with the basic things. Okay. General definition. So in the general definition, we have a definition like computer is an electronic device which performs two tasks, input and output. This is the basic definition of the computer. So now here is a question. It performs two tasks. One is the input and one is the output. So here how it is going to be working. What is input and what is output? So here input is nothing but the instructions which you are passing to the machine. Okay, I'm repeating once again. Input is nothing but the instructions which you are passing to the machine. Example, what is instruction? If I'm saying to someone, can you please open the door? Can you please close the door? Can you please switch on the light, switch off the light? It is the instruction I'm passing to someone. So same thing, whenever you are giving the instructions to the machine, it will take as an input. Is it clear? Is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here, what is the output? So output is nothing but here whatever the instructions we are passing accordingly, okay, or according to the instructions, whatever the process we are writing, okay, that is the output. For example, if I am inserting a one card into that ATM machine, it means I'm giving one input. So what process I have to write on the time to generate that particular output? I have to check the card is a genuine or not. Okay. If it is genuine, then it will go to the next step. Okay. That is our output, like enter your PIN number. So when you're entering the PIN number, it will be an input and then it will go to the next step that you will be getting the output or result. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now tell me one thing. If you're going to any shop and you're paying the amount through Phone Pay, Google Pay, or Paytm through the UPI, and if you are scanning, uh, then it is an input or output.
I think, sir,
Input,
it is
sir.
input.
Yeah, good. So when you're scanning something, then it will be a input. Okay, and then you'll get that particular output, like how much amount you have to enter. Once you enter the amount, again it will take as input and it will go to the next step. It means like you have to choose your bank, from which bank account you are paying. Again, once you select it and it will go to the next button, again it will be processed to the next step. Then it will ask again one more input, like enter your UPI pin code or UPI password. Okay. So like this, it will perform input and output. So here, how we are writing this process, that is a question. Okay. So here, whatever the instructions we are passing to the machine. Okay. For example, if you're taking the example of ATM machine, inserting a card, entering a PIN number, choosing your preferred language. So this, you can see there are multiple instructions. So multiple instructions, or you can say set of instructions, or combination of instructions, then it will create, or it will become one program. So a program is nothing but set of instructions. A program is nothing but set of instructions. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Next. Here, for example, if you want to write a leave letter to your principal, or else if you are writing any leave letter in your office, okay. So here, it is nothing but you are communicating with your in charge or boss or principal. For example, if you are, just take an example of principal or in charge. If that particular principal knows Telugu, you have to write the letter in the Telugu. Okay, if he knows English, he or she knows English, then we have to write in the English. Just assume we are writing in the English. So directly we can write the letter. Is there any patterns will be there that we have to follow? Yes, we have to follow some pattern. Example, like date, to whom we are writing the address, subject, the matter, your signature, your address, right? And before that, we should know how to create a sentence, how to format a sentence. Before, we should know about the basic of grammars, and before that, we should know the alphabetic letter. That is nothing but ABC. So here also, when you're writing the instructions to the machine, nothing but you are communicating with the machine. So here, when you're writing something, instructions, like how you're writing a letter, so before writing the letter, you should know how to write a sentence, how to frame a sentence. So here also, you should know how you can write the program. You're writing a program is nothing but you're writing some instructions. In instructions, what you are writing, maybe you're taking an input number, maybe you're printing any statement, maybe you're writing any formulas, maybe you're writing maybe a set of process, maybe you're writing any type of conditions, maybe you're repeating some type of code, maybe you're writing different things. So but how to write these things, how to execute these things, this technique you have to learn, like how to write the formula, how to save the formula, how to print any statement, how to store any data, how to take any input, how to write conditions, how to create a structure or design, how to write the entire process, okay, how to restrict something. So this technique to write the instructions is called program. The simple meaning, it is a technique to write instructions. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next thing. What is the programming language? So here we have taken the example of the live letter. When you're writing the live letter, you're choosing one particular language, and that language will be work as a communication. like English is there, Telugu is there. So it will work as a communicate. Okay, so we are communicating using that particular language. So that language becomes the source. So same thing when you are developing something, you have to choose one language. You have to choose one source. Maybe it may be a C language, C++, Java, or Python, anything. So here it is nothing but it is a source to write what you are writing. You are writing the instructions. It is communicating to the machine. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Next. So how many types of programming languages are there? So we have two types of programming languages. One is called low level programming language and one is called high level programming. So what is this low level and what is this high level? Low level means which can be understandable by the machine. What is the high level? Who can able to understand? So here high level is nothing but human can able to understand. Here, so if machine can able to understand, what is the format? The format is binary. So what comes under the binary? It contains only two digits, that is zeros and ones. What about the human? What format human understand? So human understand text form. What's the meaning of the text? It's a combination of alphabets and numbers. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Here, whatever the code we are going to write, okay, that is called high level programming language, maybe C, C++, Java, Python, anything. And here, when you're writing the code, you're going to use the alphabets in the English language because it is developed by the English people. We are using the English language. If someone is developed from Telugu people, so everyone has to learn the Telugu, right? So now here we are using the English language and numbers, but machine can able to understand this format? No, machine understand only binary format, zeros and ones, and we cannot understand binary format. So here the question is, whatever the code you are written, that is in the text format, how machine can able to understand and you'll get that particular desired output or result. So here we have a concept called language processor. So what is language processor? It is nothing but translator. And what translator it will do? It will translate whatever the code you have written, okay, to the machine format. Simple, okay. So whatever the code you are writing, that code is called source code, okay. So here it will convert source code to machine. How it is going to be converted? There are two types of language processor. How many types? There are two types of it. One is called compiler and the second one is called interpreter. So here some programming language based on the compiler, some programming language based on the interpreter. Example, C language based on the compiler, Python is based on the interpreter. And there are some programming languages out there which takes two steps process. First compile, then interpret. Example, Java. So here, what is the difference between these two? So here, both are the translator and they'll convert whatever the code we have written to the machine code. But any programming language which is based on the compiler, then you have to run your entire program, how many lines you have written. But if any programming language based on the interpreter, You don't need to run your complete program or complete file. It will execute line by line. So if any one instructions are there or one line you have written, that is also going to be executed. Is it clear, guys, till now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Okay. Now, let me ask you one question. Okay, so let's start with the Gurudat. Why we are learning the programming? What is the purpose of the programming? What you understand?
To
To
write
write
instructions in a
instructions in a
meaningful
meaningful
way,
way,
sir.
sir.
Okay, so in the real time or real life, how it is going to be useful?
Sir, we can write
Sir,
a
we can write
program so that it can perform automatically some tasks.
Okay, okay. Good. Let's go with the some more answer. Nishal, yeah. What is your
what is
thoughts?
thought? Uh, so it will help to get if we are giving some input, then it will give us output.
Okay, good. Any more thoughts?
No, sir.
Okay. Let me add some more points. So here, basically, when you are choosing a programming, so here using the programming language, basically we are developing something. Okay, just assume maybe web application, mobile application, some desktop application, gaming application, it may be anything. We are developing something. But why we are developing these things? That is a question. So here simple answer is using the programming, we are solving the real life problems by developing products, technical product. Okay. So what is the technical product? As I said in the first class, okay, the demo class, like both you have attended, I hope. So here YouTube is a product, Google Pay is a product, Gmail is a product, Swiggy, Zomato is a product, Ola, sorry, Ola is a product, Uber is a product. Whatever the technological applications, all these are the products. Instagram is a product, Facebook is a product, ATM, okay, in this ATM also program is running. ATM is a product, scanner is a product, UPI. So here, all these are products are solving some real life problems. Earlier, you can see like if there is a no ATM, for example, you have created one account in some just assume in Vijayawada, and just assume you are in Hyderabad for some work and you need immediately cash. You go to the bank, some bank, ABCD bank, and you ask money to the bank. So they tell you like, sir, where you have created the account, there only you can withdraw the amount, right? But nowadays it is not like that. You can withdraw the amount from ATMs, mini ATMs are there. Okay, different cash withdrawals from shops will be there. There you can withdraw the amounts easily. Right? In the before the UPI, if you want to do the transactions, it's very difficult for us to use the net banking, all these things. Nowadays, like if you want to do the transactions, you can do very easy. But earlier, you have to go to the bank, you have to stand in the line, you have to write one voucher. If it's a lunchtime, if it is some public holiday, festival is there, Sunday, weekends are there, you cannot do the transaction on that. But nowadays, using the UPI, Google Pay, Phone Pay, Paytm, you can immediately transfer to anyone. But these things are can able very easily with the help of programmers only, because programmers are developing the products to solve the real life problems by developing the products. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Same like example, GeoMeet app is there. Using the GeoMeet app, we are connected. Right? Or else, like if you want to learn something, then compulsory it is mandatory. You have to go to somewhere and then you have to learn, right? So that's there are many things are there if you go to the exam. Okay, so simple thing is using the programming. What we're doing, we are solving real life problems. Okay, so we are the problem solvers, right? By developing, right, by developing tech products. Okay, so now let's go with the Python programming language. Okay, so what is Python programming language? Why should we go with the Python programming language? What is the future of the Python programming language? What we can do with the Python programming language? Okay, so first of all, let's go with the basic definition of the Python programming language. Say general purpose, high level, interpreted, and dynamically typed programming language. Dynamically typed programming language. Okay, so let me open one editor here. Okay, as example, command prompt. In some time, here I'm opening one editor. Okay, we'll talk about this editor also. Okay, so okay, so where we are, general purpose. Okay, coming to the first definition till the editor is open. So Python is a general purpose, a high level, okay, interpreted and dynamically typed programming language. What it means actually. So here general purpose means any programming language which is not restricted for a particular domain. Let's take a simple example. I hope you have heard this word general Kirana store, right? So what you can get in the general Kirana store? The simple answer is whatever the regular items we use in a daily life, easily we can get in that particular store. That's the simple answer. So here technically, general purpose programming language means any programming language which is used regularly to complete the technical work in a software industry or IT company. Example, what work actually we do? We develop softwares like desktop applications, web applications, mobile applications, game applications, automation part, doing any networking stuffs, okay, doing any automation part in the cloud computing, building any artificial intelligence features, okay. So these are the regular works we do in the IT industry, even in the testing part of, okay, software testing. So all these things, if we can able to do in a single programming language, then it will be called as a general purpose. General purpose simple means you're doing multiple things using the one programming language. Is it clear this point?
Yes.
Next, what is high level programming? So just now we have discussed about this, like it's a human understandable language which you can read, which you can write, which you can easily understand. So Python is a high level programming language. You can read the code, you can understand the code, you can update that code, you can edit that code, okay, you can execute it, everything is possible. Next, coming to the interpreted. It means it is based on the interpreter. So here you don't need to write that to run that particular code. Then you don't need to run the entire file or program. Okay, so here the execution will be done line by line of single instructions. The next question: what is the dynamically typed programming? It means, okay, for example, if you are aware about the C language, if you are storing any type of data, so C language is a typed programming. It means whatever data you want to store, first you have to mention what type of data you're storing. Then only it will be understood. But in Python, it is not required. Dynamically, it will understand what type of data you're storing. Example, if you want to store any number, if you want to store any alphabetic letters, if you're storing any number with decimal or without decimal, these things easily by default it will understand. But in other programming language, C, C++, or Java, you have to mention what type of data you're storing. Let's take an example here. Okay, let me open okay, one C language editor. Okay, let's go with the online editor. And here I'm going to create one Python. Okay, so here we have this editor. So you can see here there are many things are there. Okay, which we need to write. Okay, so let me rewrite that everything. Okay, so here in the C language. Okay, first we'll talk about the C language. If you want to print some of the two numbers, so first of all, okay, you're writing something like hashtag include. So it is a preprocessor directory to attach any header files. Now, what is header file? If you want to print something, if you want to take any input value, you have to use the one header file. Header file nothing but the library. Okay. So here you have to mention standard input output header file. You have to attach. If you want to attach it, then you have to use this command hashtag include. Then in C language, whatever you want to execute, that code should be inside of the main function. So you have to write main function, then you have to open the bracket and close the bracket. Now, if you want to store any data, you have to mention what type of data you're storing. So I want to store a number which doesn't contain any decimal. So that type of data we call integer. We'll come to that part also. What is the data type? How many data types are there? What are the definitions and examples? We'll come to that part also. But as of now, just for example, okay, what is the dynamically typed programming language? So here I'm writing something integer. It's a one type of data type. And here I'm taking one variable, just assume x equals to 10. And here I'm writing one more variable, something integer y equals to 20. And here I'm taking one more integer, something z equals to x plus y. Okay. So here if I want to print these values, I have to write printf function, and here I have to mention the format specifier. So it is a simple, it is a symbol to represent the values. So here I have to mention percentage %d, and then here I have to mention the z, because in this z I want to print one integer value. So percentage %d is a symbol, that is nothing but format specifier to print the integer values. So now if I print this, so here I'm getting this 30. But the same thing if you want to execute in the Python programming language, just I need to write a comma b equals to 10 comma 20, and just I'll write a plus b directly, or else I can write the c equals to a plus b. So how much simples are there, and everything will be stored dynamically. So Python cursor automatically understand what type of data you are storing. Is it clear, guys? What is
Yes,
dynamically?
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir. So here next. So here next, like why to choose Python? There are different types of features are there. Uh, there are different types of what can I say? If you compare to other programming languages, the trend, or you can say the job market, the community, and the future is very high, and uh, we can say, like, comparing to other programming languages, it is very very uh, high and successful rates. Okay, why? Because right now most of the application is developing with the AI features, and 85% of the industry are using the Python programming language. And in especially for a Python developers, okay, once you get the experience, at least minimum 2 years, 3 years, there will be n number of benefits. The first thing, for Python developers, there will be a no layoffs. The second thing, you can do the remote jobs. Remote jobs means, for example, you're sitting in India, and if you want to work with the US company, and you want a salary like how they are getting the US citizens or US employees, that much salary you can expect by sitting in India, and you can work remotely. You don't need to go anywhere. That is the power of the Python programming. Because the most important reason, like, people or companies are using the Python is, the main thing is, the first one, most of the applications are developing right now, okay, with the AI features on. And the second thing is the security. Like big applications like YouTube, Instagram, NASA, they have developed on Python programming. Even Mozilla Firefox, due to the security breach, okay, they have entirely changed their code to the Python. Before they are using the PHP, and now entirely they have changed into the Python programming. And there are many companies are there, like repository system like Bitbucket. They are also using the Python programming. Dropbox, Python programming. Okay, there are many companies are there, like big product companies, okay, like Google, Microsoft, okay. So they are using the Python programming language to develop their applications for the AI as well as for the security, okay. And there are n number of features also there. For example, let's add some basic features. The first one is the object-oriented programming concept. So object-oriented programming concept is like, whenever you want to do any repeated task, then you can design and create a structure for that particular feature, or whatever the development work is there. And if you want to store some particular data related to that, easily using the object-oriented. For example, Gmail account. So if any user want to create any account in the Gmail, they have to follow the same procedure, okay, and that procedure are same for the all the users. And that type of design pattern, or you can say model, you can easily develop with the object oriented program. We'll talk more about this, okay. And one more thing, the rich libraries they have libraries and framework. So whatever you want to complete any particular work or development work, it having the libraries and framework. Example, if you want to develop any desktop application, you have to use, there is some libraries there. If you want to develop any web application, there is some framework is there. Okay, so for each and every work, there are some libraries and framework are freely available. Just you have to use that particular library or framework, and you can complete your work. Example, we want to develop any web application. So we are going to use one framework called Django. And apart from the Django, there are alternate frameworks also there. So we can use them. Okay, but in the market, in the real time, if you want to develop any big application, scale application, big application means where n number of users are using that particular application at a time. For example, Facebook is there, Amazon.com is there, okay, Gmail is there, Google Sheets are there. Okay, so these type of applications are using n number of users. YouTube is there, n number of users are using that particular platform or website at a time. Okay, and you can extend or embed the code also very easily. Okay, and it is a platform independent. If you want to like run this code into the any particular platform, it is very easily. Okay, and one more thing, the community support you will get. For example, if you're stuck somewhere also, there are n number of community supports are available in different platform like GitHub, Stack Overflow, YouTube. There are n number of books are there, even n number of websites are there, n number of pages are there. Okay, where if you stuck anywhere also, you'll get that particular result. Okay, and there are many things are there. Okay, that we are going to learn one by one. Any questions till now?
Sir, the framework, can you please repeat?
Sorry, can you come again?
Sir, frame.
Framework.
Yes, sir. Didn't understand what it is.
Okay, so framework. Okay, let's talk about example of the Django framework. So here, if I want to develop any web application, that web application having the two parts. One is the front end part, one is the back end part. So in the front end, what is the front end? Whatever the information I can able to see as a customer, and whatever the operations I want to do as a customer, that it will be visible on the screen. That comes under the front end. Example, if I open any web page, let's talk about this Facebook. So here as a customer, what I can able to see here, okay, and whatever the action I'm doing, okay, that all comes under the front end part. Okay, if I click on the login, if I click on the create the account, whatever I can able to see on my page. But how the things are happening, how the things are working, where the data is storing, okay, so that is the backend part. Okay, like here for example, I user can able to see this particular form. Okay, one type of login form is there. Here they have to enter their email, password, and they have to click on this login button. So this is the front end part. Here there is a Facebook logo is there. There is one line is written. So this is the front end part. But if I click on the login, how this login is working, how they are checking my email address, how they are checking my password, how I can able to create my account, how I can able to purchase something, how I can able to upload my photo. All these things are happening through the backend. So in a framework, we are handling all these files. We are handling how to integrate, how to set up the databases. We are handling how to write the front end files. We are handling how to write the backend files, how we are connecting each and every files. All these commands, all these codes related to the front end, back end databases that we are managing, we are handling in the framework. So framework, just assume here we are managing the entire project, and it here you are mentioning whatever you want the particular work, or all the files related to your work, it will be available in one folder. Okay, in one particular folder all files will be there. So that is your project, and that you are maintaining or handling or completing your work through the one particular framework. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so shall we continue, or is it enough for today? Guys, is it enough, or like shall we continue to the next topic?
Yes, sir. We can continue.
Okay. So here, okay, the next concept is what is the data types. when you are learning any programming language, what is the data types, and we have one more concept called what is identifiers. Before that, I'll mention better first tokens. Okay, and in this we have identifiers, we have keywords, we have a concept called literal, and we have a concept called. So here, before going to the data types, let me ask you one question. What is the difference between the data and information? Nishchal,
Yes, sir.
any idea?
Uh, Sir,
Sir,
data,
data.
we are putting some information in computer.
Okay.
Uh,
Any example or more answers?
Sir, data is something that is unprocessed, sir. Information is a meaningful processed inform data, sir.
Okay. If I write something like this, Sachin score 200. So now tell me, is it a data or information?
uh,
What do you think?
sir, it is it is information.
Okay. Gurudat,
Data, sir.
why it is data?
Sir, it is
And if it is in,
unprocessed data, sir.
what is the meaning of unprocessed?
Using the data, we will get some information, sir.
So Sachin scored 200. We are getting some information like Sachin actually scored 200 runs.
Sir,
So
after processing it with other data, we can get some information, sir.
okay. Let me add one point here. If anything is describing, or you can say if you go with the definition of the basic data, it is a unit of information. And information means you're describing something. And data is a one unit. Okay. For example, Sachin is a one unit. 200 is a one unit. Are you getting my point?
Yes,
So here Sachin is a one data. 200 is a one data. So here, what type of data, Sachin? It's a alphabetic letter.
yes,
Okay, alphabetic letter. And what is 200? It is a
numeric.
numerical number. Okay. So same thing in programming language. If you want to hold any data, we have a concept called data type. So here basically we have some data types like integer, float, string, and boolean. So what is integer? If you are storing any number without any decimal point, then it will be called as an integer. For example, you're storing 10, 20, 30, 1, 3, something, any number without decimal. It will be called as an integer. If you are storing any number with the decimal, okay, then it will be referred as a float. Example 1.22, 3.456, 13 point something. Okay, any number with the decimal. So what is string? So here in Python programming language, either you are storing any single character or multiple character that will be comes under the string. For example, hi, hello, welcome. These things are comes under the string. So whenever you are storing any string, so strings always written inside of quotes. Quotes means either this is the single quotes, hi, this is a double quotes, hello, like this. Next boolean, either this value will be true or this value may be false. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next, tokens. So what is the tokens concept here? So coming to the token word, we already heard this word. If you go to any restaurant, okay, food restaurant, uh, if you purchasing any food, you'll get they'll get you the token or slip. Same thing if you go for any shopping mall also, if you want to deposit your belongings, you will get one token. So simply each and every token is a unique and they are doing one task. Okay. So here in programming language, we have these four tokens are there: identifiers, keywords, literal, and operator. So these four are very special and each and every tokens are doing some particular task or work and each and every token are different, are unique. So here the first we'll talk about the identifiers. So what is identifier? Simple meaning, but with the word we can understand it gives some identification. But what identification they are giving? For example, if you're going for any exam, how the examiner or any in charge who is going to check the student, how they are going to identify that particular student is genuine or not? What would be the identifiers? Simple answer. They are going to check the hall ticket and identity card of the college. And they are going to match the identifiers. They compare it. Okay, they'll check it. What would the identifiers? Name is the identifier. Photo is the identifier. College name is the identifier. Hall ticket number is the identifier. College code is the identifier. If you go with the 10th class hall ticket, there will be written a mole on the right hand, a mole on the left hand, something like that. So these identifiers are giving the identification. For example, in a world you want to visit any country, so the country name is the identifier. In a particular country you want to visit any state, so state name is the identifier. In a state you want to visit any city, so city is the identifier. In city you want to visit any particular area, that area is going to be identified. In area you want to visit any particular building, so that building name is identified. So here basically, here we are giving some names, right? For example, in a class, okay, there are first name is there, last names will be there. So why we are assigning these names? Because these are the identifiers. So same thing in programming language, we are assigning the names. So then these names are called as a identifier. So what we are doing, we are assigning names. But why we are assigning the names, to whom we are assigning the names, if we assign the names, what will happen, how it is going to for the identification purpose, and why they are using for the identification purpose. So first we'll talk about what are the identifiers. So variable is a concept, it's a type of identifier. Okay, let me write here types of identifier. So here types of identifier, and here in that I'm going to write variables. I'll write function. I'm going to write class. I'm going to write. So these are the identifiers are there in the Python programming language. And how it is going to be work and what is the purpose of these. So here first we'll talk about the variables. So here if you want to store any data, then we use the variable. Okay, so why we use, let me write here, store, to store data. But okay, so for example, you store some data and you want to reuse that particular data. So how are you going to reuse that particular data? So then we have to give some name. On that name, this particular data will be stored. For example, I want some information from that particular person. So what I will do, I have to call that particular person. Then only I will get that information from that particular person. So same thing here. For example, you're storing, okay, you're storing first name, you're storing last name in your application. So it is nothing but you're storing data. You're storing mobile number. You're storing email address. Okay, when you're storing any contact. So here you are storing one data. But to store the data, we have to give some name. First name equals to something, last name equals to something, mobile name equals to something, email equals to something. So here to store data, okay, so when we storing the data, we have to give some name, and that name is a identifier. But what type of identifier? It is a variable. So variable means you are assigning a name to store data. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so let me write some example here. Example, okay, first name, okay, last name, mobile number, email, etc. Okay, next, function. So now, what is this concept? So here, is function also a one type of identifier. Means you are assigning the name. Okay, so we'll understand variable like to store data, we assigning one name, so we can understand later if you want to access the value, we'll call that particular variable. We clear that part. What is function? What we are storing in this, why we are storing in this, and how it is going to be helpful. So here in the function, maybe you're going to write, maybe you're going to store some statements. Statement means what, sir? Your password is wrong, is a one statement. You have, your transaction is successful, is a one statement. Login is successful, is a one statement. Email ID or password is incorrect, is a one statement. Okay, so maybe you're writing any statement, any set of lines, maybe you're writing anything, maybe you're writing any formula. Maybe you're writing any formula, maybe you're writing any condition, maybe you're writing any loop. We'll talk about what is loop. It's a repeated task. Okay, and maybe you're writing any process. Okay, whatever you're writing. So now if you want to execute this, how you can able to execute? So these things can be executed when you can store into one name. and later n number of time you want to use it, you can use this particular thing. For example, just to understand, there is a printf function in C language. Using the printf function, we are printing something. So in a program, if you want to print something 10 times, 100 times, so we are using this printf function. So same thing, customizedly, if you want to create any functionality that holdings in number of statement, in number of lines of code, any formula, any condition, any set of process, it may be anything. It will be a mini program. Okay, it is called mini program. So here, then we have to assign one name. On that name, we store all these things, and whenever it is required, we can execute very easily. That is called function. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
We are
Yes.
going to learn more on this when we are learning this separate topic. Okay, when we are in the practical part. The next thing, what is class? So class, as I said, like for example, create a contact in your mobile. Okay, creating an account in the Gmail. You want to upload any photo in Facebook, then that is the same process for all the users, or there is the same process if you want to repeat also. So then the structure is going to be created using the class, whatever the structure or design, okay, or model that is going to be created using the class. Okay, and whenever you want to implement it and you want to access those things, okay, so that is nothing but the object. Accessing elements or member or data of the class. Is it clear, guys? We'll talk more about practically. Okay, is it just a definition part? I hope it is clear. Is it clear?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Now, next. So, what is keywords now? So, here in the identifier, what we are doing, we are assigning our own names. So, here when we are assigning our own names, okay, so there will be some naming rules also there. Okay, let me write here one more part. Naming rules. How to give the name? Directly we can give any name? No, there is a naming rules also. So, what are the naming rules? You cannot start the name with any number. Okay, this is the rule. This is the universal rules for all programming and scripting language. It is going to be same. You cannot start the name with any special character except of underscore. So you can use underscore, but except of underscore, you cannot use any special character to start the name. You and one more thing, keywords can't be an identifier. Means, okay, whatever the keyword is there, that words you cannot use. Okay, what is keyword? I'll come to that point. And here one more thing, you can start the name with any alphabetic letter or underscore. This is the rules. These are the universal rules. Okay, now coming to the keywords. So now in the identifier we are assigning the names, okay, for different tasks: to store the data, to create structure, to access the class, to create any functionalities. Okay, then if you want to execute that particular functionality, we have to use one name. That's why we are assigning the names. We clear that point. Now, what is keywords? So keywords means these are the reserved words. These are the reserved words. Reserved word means which is already assigned, or you can say which is already define or declare. Means this name are already fixed. But what is the purpose? Why they have given the name here? When you're developing any program, okay, when you're writing any functionality, so how the program flow understand you're writing one functionality? If you're writing any condition, how your program will understand you're writing one condition? If you're writing any class, so how your program will understand you're writing one class? If you're writing any loop, if you want to restrict any data, if you want to continue something, you want to break something, how your program should understand what actually you're doing, what actually you're writing. So for this particular problem, they have fixed some words. There are some words are there, 33 keywords are there, which is used for a specific task. For example, there is a if keyword is there, def keyword is there, else keyword is there, for keyword is there, while keyword is there, break keyword is there. So like this, there are 33 keywords are there for each and a specific task, and each keywords do a specific task, a specific operation, a specific work. Is it clear? Okay. Next, literals. What is literal now? Okay, so what you're doing, you are storing a data into a variable. So whatever the data is there, that is nothing but we called value. Okay, so that value, it may be integer also, it may be string also, it may be boolean also, it may be float also. So here the simple answer is whatever the value which is storing inside of the variables are called literal. Okay, so your literal may be anything. For example, if I'm storing a equals to 10, if I'm storing a equals to 10.23 something, or else if I'm storing a equals to hello. So a literals might be integer, it may be a float, or it may be string, it may be anything. It is a simple thing, it is a value which is storing inside of the variable, then it is called a literal. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Next, operator. So what is operator? So simply operators do operation, but what operations? So here simple meaning, it is a symbol which is used to create some type of operations, or else we can say it is a symbol which is used to create any formula or expression. Example, plus is a symbol, minus is a symbol, multiplication is a symbol, division is a symbol, greater than is a symbol, less than is a symbol, not equals to is a symbol, equals to is a symbol. So these are the symbols which is used for to create formulas or expressions or to perform any particular task. Like plus is used for additions, minus used for subtractions, asterisk or star symbol used for multiplication, slash is used for division, less than or greater than used for to compare, it is a greater than or less than, not equals to equals use again for comparison. Like this we have different operators are there which is categorized in a different sections, like arithmetic operator, assignment operator, comparison operator, logical operator, bitwise operator, okay, identity operator, membership operators. These things we are going to learn one by one. Okay, so guys, so that's it for today. Okay, if you have any questions, please let me know.